It's a very rare opportunity nowadays for me to be among the academicians. So I'm looking forward to a very interesting session. And thank you again, everybody. And I would not take much of your time. Let us move over to Dr. Mithun Dash. He will be presenting. We will be presenting a very interesting paper on metabolism, I hope, and we are looking forward to a very interesting talk. Before that, I would like to congratulate and we would like to felicitate him. Let us start the session. Thank you, everybody.
Here, and I started this journey under his direction. Later, I realized that instead of going for cross-sectional studies, which is also needed, no doubt, but why let me go for follow-up, because these kind of disease or diseases do have several kind of factors which you cannot encompass just having one visit, and then you analyze your data and publish. After that, we know what happens to that population. 10 years later, no observation. Again, another group, they collect data, and that is how most of the indigenous people are either uh, studied, or rather, I would say they are overused. So my attempt was simple, just to visit there as and when possible, despite all sort of other opportunities. And is millennials are becoming more susceptible to lifestyle than their parents. Now, this is a very serious global health burden, which I have realized in the last 21 years or so, which I'm just going to share a very brief of it, that how this non-communicable diseases within a population starts from nowhere in one generation at one point of its age, but on the very next generation, at that very age, the prevalence, the incidence are all changing, increasing. So let us move, which I first started. Then I have my scholar, Mr. Shubhrajyoti Das, who is a ICSSR doctoral fellow. He has just completed, and currently we are also screening the third generation of this particular population. As because it has been found that in many of the other part of the world, millennials are showing higher rates earlier age than their parental generation. So that is my main part. Their parents were at the age of say 35 or 40. Now their next generation at that age are much more vulnerable to chronic diseases. Reasons are so many, factors are so many. Let us just jump it up. So in few words, I can say that millennials are less heart healthy, are more into that lifestyle. So I will show you some pics also in later part, where you can see that living in a very small village, very few in numbers. So I will again say arguably homogeneous, despite having some sort of intra-caste marriage or something like that. And they are also living in the same, so far the official record goes is almost 200 years. If I take this two natural settings as G and E, population and living in the same village where there is no changes in the cardiometabolic profiles and other activities are found may largely be decades. This outcome of three major transitions which took place across the globe. One is the nutrition transition, as you know, that is from there is a shift. Simultaneously, there is an epidemiological transition, that is more and more infectious disease, and parallelly demographic transition. Now, what has happened in most of the first world countries? This all took place almost over 200 years ago. So now they are genetically quite adapted to this form of decades, not in centuries. And as many of us are here who are studying genetics, 2 to 3 decades are not essential to make yourself genetically adapted. So that is the main curse why people of this longitudinal study that you all know, it was just an attempt to study that particular cohort with an interval of 3 to 4 years, that what I am going to show you, with the a priori expectation that any changes in adiposity in the last 2 decades could be accounted for change in lifestyle, since other two factors, the majorly the G and E, are arguably similar. I'm still saying arguably. Which has been followed up over the same individuals. So over the year, here you can say that number of N is very small. Yes, because by the time when we come to 1919, minimized, because many of people die, many you do not found. That is one of the disadvantage of any longitudinal study. What has been found that over the years there is significant in female, despite being a representative of a very traditional society. High systolic and or diastolic pressure. And if any three of this get suffice, then you can know that the person having metabolic syndrome. So all as well as age group, and there you can see that within the span of two decades, how this age group wise difference has been found. So for systolic blood pressure, there is a significant increase in the present cohort as compared to the previous. So does the diastolic pressure. Similar comes with fasting glucose. significantly aroused. And then comes triglyceride also. And this mean HDL is about low HDL. Now if you see the figure, there you can see that what kind of change took place in this last 2 decades. That is about the different concomitant factors which has changed, and now blood pressure and blood glucose have significantly compared to the previous cohort of the same population. So for the overall visit, that has increased 37%. Same fold increase in the prevalence of metabolic syndrome. Where is the problem? Same population, just two generation, so different. Parental generation, younger generation. So this is what has been accounted, that at that point of time, those who were in the age of 40s, now their children who are at the age of 30s and 40s. At that time, those were compared. It is not that overall. So particularly what was there in the earlier cohort when their parents were at that age. That is important. And this lot. This is what oil has been incorporated. So these are the dietary changes which you can see. These all are the millet. Their parents. They are still non-sedentary work. And there is also a rise in obesity, metabolic syndrome, everything. So this particular young time as compared to their parents. So this present had primarily caused due to rapid change in physical activity habits. Even in traditional societies, this has isolate population which could have come out of any genetic drift. So there could be their older generation whom we work in cohort 1 are still more healthy than their leading to an increase of morbidity and mortality. My scholar Subrajyoti is here, and his serious public health burden. So thank you.
That was really very interesting to see the changes that have
there is more intergenerational difference than intragenerational.
Than intragenerational. Yeah, I can see that there are more points. Later on, maybe we can catch up with Mithun and we.
Because nowadays most of them are either having no options are very less.
But regarding food, regarding availability of food or changes in the diet,
That has changed
etc.,
significantly.
that is not so much of tradition.
Centers, children are coming every now and they have engulfed.
Maybe consumption of alcohol, etc. Also.
Yeah, in a linear fashion, nutritional, epidemiological, and demographic.
So thank you again for your different aspect here, and there may it is an invited lecture, right? So I would like to keep your points for discussion maybe during tea time. That would be better. So thank you everyone and thank you Mithu. Thank you.
Thank you.
Saying with this, the Toto initially not of adaptation. Toto basically the population living in, they call Loyals. And a person migrated to this Toto hill. In India, what we call Toto, very interesting. One important thing, the Toto in most of time. You know, one study. A phone call from intelligence department at midnight. Some anthropologists can collect data by giving money. They are doing research. It's a very important issue that how anthropological ethical issues is important. And another important thing since you are studying it, I am not giving you any suggestion, I am not expert of that, the how the Totos, because it was big competition in it was based on worker community. Correctly, the older generation, maybe the grandfather generation,
They are still active.
they are very still because middleman to supply knowledge from please use the globalization framework. Slightly so because administrative study because international system. So I say once again, it is not just simply this.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Uh, Facts. So I would like to follow the names if all of you can you please answer. Julie Ghosh, Abhishekta Ghosh Rai, Shamarpita Kole, Shivli Go, Deepshikha Sarkar, 4 or 5. 5 of them are present. Five of you are present here, so we can have at least I think 10 to 12 minutes each for your presentation. And I would point out your answers, note it down, and we can have their question answer session at the end of the presentation.
Hello, 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 hello.
Shivli Go. With us, Shivli Go. She will be presenting paper on ethnic variation on stunting and its concomitant factors among the preschool children of Purulia district. She is from Shidokano University. You are working under? Yes. Shivli, you are ready with your presentation? So let's begin then. You have 10 to 12 minutes. community which I have studied, one is Kurmi and another is Sobol. Kurmi is an agriculturist caste group in the state of Jharkhand, Odisha. They are distributed in the district of Purulia, Bankura, East Bengal. Whereas Sobol or Purulia are one of the most backward. This study will have importance in developing biosocial aspect to address the of these children. The materials and methods which I used, area, the study conducted in 3 blocks of Kurmi and Sobol preschool children of the ICDs from different villages of Purulia district. Sample size 701 preschool children were measured in Sobol with the within the age group of 1 to 5 years. Anthropometric and other levels height was taken from each a pre-tested schedule which include specific bath orders administered. The nutritional status of the children was evaluated based on weight and as it's specific to their school state. That is school will be following the was used. Statistical analysis. SPSS was used for statistical analysis. Student the result of the study. In this table shows the mean and standard deviation and ethnic groups. Sex and ethnic groups. Study children 43%. So starting ethnic specific study.
Created by initiatives. Mostly इसका जो island which is so government initiative is much more in that area with respect to other areas. So with respect to this government initiative supplemented by this unknown nature of things, they are bound to go for the benefit.
Seeds is and we have marginalized. In West Bengal, there are also. In Devanagar, 1973, they mentioned the there are three types of primitive tribes: Lodha, Lodha, and laterly changed in primitive vulnerable tribal group on the Lodha tribes. Lodha tribes are forest equipment from their local regions and the forest areas. So while I'm considering Lodha as the women are more vulnerable and deprived according to they are not of food, healthcare, nutrition, and which leads to the adverse health effect. So while I'm focusing on the nutrition or a major indicator of individual health, which we gain by influenced by the intake, absorption, and utilization of the nutrients. Of the food. A research showed that women under these tribal groups and their health and nutritional aspects. Nutritional status among these Lodha women. With these adult Lodha women in the reproductive age of Jharkhand districts. 80 Lodha women, data from the 80 Lodha women are collected from the different regions. Scores of that particularly women. Anthropometric measurements was also one another major important factor is the reproductive age group adult women, non-lactating, non-pregnant. My research work is this: the cereals and legumes, green leafy vegetables, roots, tubers. According to the WHO recommendation, the ideal taking it in my consideration. So among them, primary source also daily wage laborer. About the respondent income level and their relations and their engagement. In time, their economic contribution with their families and the number of children, their monthly income of the respondents is focused in their table. So most of them healthy WHR. That means they are which is under 36 to 45 with the nine food major nutritional food like vegetables. These are collected from their households. I'm not mentioning their name, but visual that you can tell that the vegetables, the indigenous vegetables and fruits. So the mainly depend on the socio-economic condition and their income level. Responding with their higher income level take more meal a day and the food consumption are better than others. So adequate intake of vegetables, fruits, the BMI scale. And intake of balanced diet have a significant contribution to their health status. That there are lots of indigenous foods which they consume to maintain their balanced diet and their nutritional status. So Lodha women also practicing some effective consumption habits by which they can gain consumption pattern. So these are some recommendations. These references and these are my recommendations.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
I think most of us have many questions to ask her. There is Am I audible? Anthropology, University of Calcutta. Our section today is on understanding premenstrual symptoms among the unmarried young adults of Kolkata. Kohina, again, I would for 10 to 12 minutes. Thank you. Hello. From the Department of Anthropology, University of Calcutta. And today my topic is about understanding West Bengal. Now, what are premenstrual symptoms? All the girls or all the women sitting here have some way or in their lifetime have come across some symptoms. Maybe it may be physiological symptoms like stomachache, abdominal bloating. Onset of their menstruation, and it generally occurs in the luteal phase before the menstruation and often get resolved just after the menstruation or once the menstruation began. You'll be surprised to the interpersonal relationships. Onset of their menstruation. This term, tension. While mentioning this term, premenstrual tension, he was actually considering the premenstrual symptoms. We are not only acknowledging the psychological symptoms but also the physiological symptoms. So that is why the term premenstrual syndrome. Now, until this time, premenstrual syndrome was a problem that was faced by the women generations, but it was not a condition. It was not recognized. By American College of Obstetricians and Gynecology in 2015, and they have classified the premenstrual symptoms into two categories. Abdominal pain. My objectives of the study is to assess the prevalence of the premenstrual symptoms among the unmarried young adults in Kolkata and to find out the association between North Kolkata region in West Bengal, and the study participants were within the age group of exclusion criteria. I have seen that the participants were free from any kind of wedlock. Moving on to the results and presentation. This table shows the association between the different demographic variables with premenstrual symptoms. Subject, educational qualification, occupation, and monthly income. This table menstrual characteristics, and again there has been no significant association found. Stratified among the different age groups, the most maximum women, the symptoms that were experienced by frequent ones are vaginal pain, frequent need of urination, and premenstrual symptoms were said to have premenstrual symptoms, and it was almost 70% of the participants were having. Of the participants with the premenstrual symptoms. There's an interesting thing here. As we know that premenstrual, when we are seeing or we are noticing, in case of the menstrual blood loss of the premenstrual, the women with premenstrual symptoms, it is only maximum of the participants were shown to have medium blood loss. For pain severity as well, it is moderate kind of of the menstrual flow. It is within 4 to 6 days, which is considered normal. When we are assessing the unmarried young adult girls and we are regulating the different menstrual health, we are actually be psychological problem, but here physiological organizations could take an active initiation through. This is a very common aspect that she has taken up for her study. We will be discussing many points, I hope, after that. For this session, I think this is the last presentation. Konkona Basu College. She is presenting today on that district of West Bengal. Konkona, again, you have 10 to 12 minutes as your earlier speakers. So please try to maintain the time.
Topic of diabetes and its management among the elderly. Worldwide. Two types of diabetes mellitus present. Conspicuous without its proper control. Thus, diabetes management is a very 43% diabetics were aged above 60 years. Evaluate sex differentials in the management medication profile like oral, non-modern medicine and diabetes and its management. Of diabetes related factors such as comorbidity in this study, random blood glucose level was the normal random glucose level is less than 1. Of education, occupation, monthly individual income, and age of 50 to 59. Oral medicine usage. Gastroenterologist disease, gastrointestinal also found to be significantly associated with around hip area was higher in females than males. It had been seen that most of the males in this case 73.3% in this study the random glucose level of 76 percent male and 70% female was below 200 mg. The random glucose level was controlled by them. Possible in mitigating the problem of this degenerative disease that is in. Thank you.
Presentations from various topics, right from tribal people to the urban population, and hope you are excited now to ask questions to the presenters. Before that, I would like to ask the presenters that the certificates are ready and they can collect. So you don't need to panic. And for now, I would like to ask if anybody is interested. Questions for Shivli. The topic was ethnic variation on stunting and its concomitant factors among the preschool children of Purulia. If anybody has any question for this presentation, none? No questions? Varun sir? Please, please.
Group each. So they're taking two groups. One was Shabur and the other was Kurbi. যেটা তোমার মনে হয় সেটা বলো তোমার ওখান থেকে যা পাওয়া হচ্ছে show through your study.
Yes, sir, there will be about
Think that education mattered here, and that is why they are different.
Audible here? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions for may I ask Shivli one thing?
We know that, but we have a very special guest and we want to spend. Additional Director of Public Instruction Higher Education Department, Government of West Bengal. She is with her and we'd like to have some words from. this college. We have our present principal sir with us now.
Oh, congratulations. Thank you everybody. It's very coming here is nothing but coming to my home. I was principal here not for a long time, but by that time I have old friends here. In my time, it is my pleasure our present principal, Dr. Saurabh Chakraborty, for inviting me in this auspicious. Also, Department of Anthropology, head of the department and the members, and told me several times to come over here. For my busy schedule, I'm sorry that I couldn't come in time. So, what I just want to say that this department, anthropology department, it is one of the best departments, not even in the college, but also in universities. From 2019, and this young department, I'm very happy to see today that that young department is putting its feet in very firm way, that it is organizing an international seminar, and I know principals have helped them a lot. We know that nothing is possible, and in this point of view, I college and he is helping the department to grow. Thank you very much for bearing me. It's really we were in a very interesting session of question, answer, and discussions for the presentations that were what you chose Shabor and Kurmi for your study, the children populations, and what was the reason for choosing two tribes? What was your idea?
Tribal group of Purulia, and now Kurmi are demanding for a tribal status, and that's why what are the biosocial aspects that their demand as they are demanding for a scheduled tribe status. So that's why this idea came into my mind, and working on ICDS projects and with the measurements or with the growth aspects with urban children, urban Indian children, or all over the globe. Are we on the correct path? Should we consider it population wise?
Have you gone through any of such literature where it is that it can't be used as a global index? Can you answer this for me?
Yeah, the Gopal is going to answer.
Good afternoon, everybody. For assessing undernutrition, starting from the various ethnic groups, there are different cutoff points. Like the universal that universal cutoff point, that is 18.5 to 29.9. It is universally accepted, depending on that. Age was about 85% that zone. But if we consider that particular area, depending on the Indian population, the result will be different. There are standard cutoff points for ethnic specific, not actually for the suburbs or the Kurmis, but Indian value is much more the universal cutoff point. That is the difference.
I think that is the major aspect that we study that vegetables to assess their the return percentage of the higher percentage of the available in their area. So I observed there that the difference maybe the lots of malnourished are something there, but also vegetables fruits globally they have the ideal vegetation. So that is that the consumption practices
That the difference between the indigenous vis-a-vis that are available outside.
I will take it as my next major research work. Thank you. Studies where we have seen that married symptoms, which is very marital relationships. It is affecting the marital relationships. But when we are considering the groups, when we are categorizing it, yes, the exact etiology of what is standard girls, maybe the system is reasons behind it. It can be there are walking models. Yes, yes, yes. This is the sorry, all of it is all of the all of them are recorded because that is also yes, 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 yes. It is menstrual. It is where excluded from the study. Yes.
Yes, I was. So what are the determinants of these? So what is
There are many girls who are actually not seeing causes are not tilted.
age related? So what
It is related with
hereditary also,
yes.
and ask the mother of this girl who is not having experience and symptoms, maybe some answer can come.
Yes. For the mother, sisters, they can also be studied so that you can get the hereditary factors behind premenstruals. Okay. Just okay.
And just one other thing, have you noticed about the, take seniors' advice. That's yeah. Like this.
It is different kinds of emergency. For example, in case of PCOG 2015, it is five two symptoms for physiological and three symptoms or four symptoms from. Needed to be regulated, but they are not paying any concern towards this particular condition. Any questions from the audience? Session here. Sessions were very
I will wait for some time before the next session begins, which is scheduled. Tea and then come back for the final session. Thank you so much.